So it now took me to another school that is like I have to take like 2 buses. So I was so ashamed of myself. You can imagine that people who are your junior, that nobody comes to you for you to teach them. So you are now in the same class. But I thank God that they did not go and put me to go and learn mechanic or whatever. That this education I will still have it. So I repeated, and when we now did the exam, I passed. So they had now took me to that school. They call it Okera Grammar School. That was the school I went to, and that school was very disciplined. You cannot come late. You cannot dress anyhow, and it was different from. So they used to be some guys that I normally I don't know I always look to at them that these guys are doing well. They are always first to third. Guy, after all that, went to the university, all of that. I started working somewhere on the island. Then I now made this guy that's always between first and third position. And he went to that secondary school. Guess what happened? Ask me what work the guy was doing. He was working as an electrician. That is the way God does these things. When I saw the guy, when I saw him and I passed, I could not even have a conversation with him because I was like, no, it can't be Shegun. His name too is Shegun. I said it can't be Shegun that is doing this menial job. That I expected this guy to be in, maybe he did maybe science or whatever to be in high places. And he was the one that even called me. And I was like, guy, what are you doing here? He said, he's an electrician. I was like, how did it happen? So sometimes, that was why I said sometimes there's a way God will just shape your life. Whether you have a parent or you don't have a parent to guide you career-wise. Because you have some parents that they will not even guide you. Sometimes when you are under your parent, you might not even become somebody. Or else you go and live with somebody that will help you to shape your life. It's not always parents that will guide children to their career path. Sometimes if you are under your parent, they can even spoil you. But if you go to a third party, like my own sister-in-law, it was where they took her to go and live because they lost their dad when they were like 3 years. So they now had to share all of them. But she was the only one that was lucky. Do you get? She was the only one that was lucky that they took to one of the grandmas who happened to be the senior sister to the late dad. But the woman loved education. But where they now put other of her siblings, those ones they don't value education. So she was the only one that went to university. And me coming to this UK, she also supported us financially for us to be able to relocate here. So look at the way God has structured it. Do you understand? He connected me with a family where I got married because he knew that that family I would need them in future for me to be able to achieve my. I've been coming to the UK before I came to. I have a business I run a travel agency business and I was making good money. Do you get? But you know, that time my dad will even tell me that, Shegun, why not stay back in the UK? Money, daddy, I have a good business I'm doing here. If I go back to the UK, I start all over again. All my customers will just allow people to just pick them on the street. But look at the way God now structured it. Now he connected me with my wife. I married her. God knew that I need that family to be able to relocate to the UK through our sister. So, and if you ask every other person, they will tell you the way God has done it for them. So sometimes this career thing is not about parent only. Sometimes you're under your parent, there might be some decision that they won't want to take because you are their children, but an outsider will take that decision to better your lot. So it's just all about God just guiding you. I rest my case. And they were making money. They were making money. That was God sent. That was the person God sent to you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's even possible that even if they are educated, do you know that? It's even possible that if they are educated, they might not lead you to that path that this man led you to. Do you understand? Well, and that was why God decided to plant you in that family where somebody, a third party will come and assist you to redirect you to what God has destined you to do. And you will see that that thing that you are You are really excelling. That's the hand of God in one's life, using a third party to come and structure your life. Is becoming a bot. Dr. J is dead. Okay, yeah. Dr. J is dead. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I wanted to be sure that it's still active.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
So it's still night where I am. So good evening, everybody. Kind of. All right. So yeah, this is my first time in this community. I was just going around. It's not quite long. I joined TikTok anyway, so I was just
Okay, you dey waka pass.
I just the waka pass. So I saw last man catch me for here. Okay,
You're welcome.
so yeah, is I'm sure and I am from
You're welcome.
Nigeria, and is glad to listen to what you guys are already discussing. So, should parents choose career for their children? That is it's a very big question, and I have my own experience. I have experience of siblings, and I'm a college professor, and so I have interacted with several students and had these discussions severally with fellow lecturers, and the the opinion is diverse, and it has pros and cons. So what? Sorry, who was the last person that spoke? Is it Unique Shegun that spoke the last time, right? The person who just finished speaking now. Who was the person? No, no, no. Before you.
Yeah,
There
it
was a
was me. Yeah,
guy,
it was me.
Unique Shegun, right? I think it's the one. Okay, yeah. So he has said something very important, that God guiding somebody's steps in life. You see, that factor is the biggest. Is the biggest. If you read Proverbs chapter 3, right? I think chapter 5 or chapter 3, it says that you should commit your ways to the hands of God. Right? Lean not on your understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. So your parents should not make decision for their children, but guide their children prayerfully and thoughtfully in the children's decisions on career. That's the clear statement which I want to buttress on. So in my own case, my father wanted me to study medicine, right? But I don't know biology. I'm not good in biology, right? That's 1. 2, immediately say anything of the environment, my heart begins to pace. When I was growing up, immediately, even if I just walk and I just see an hospital around, right, my heart begins to pace. So is it that kind of me you now put inside the hospital to be walking there? Once a while, when you have malaria and you go to the hospital, immediately I step inside that hospital ground, I begin to shiver. My hand begin to shake. And my father wants me to, do medicine. So the parents will always say do this or do that because of their good desire for the children. But it's not all the good desire they have there for their children that is God's desires for them. So their desire might be good, but not God's will. So, and their desires for the children too may be good, but not the children's area of strength. So this discussion is very diverse. So I remember the first JAMB I bought. I posted that I wrote JAMB 4 times. In those days they will say you are jamming jam you. So when jam you. So so I wrote JAMB the first time, right? That was 2001. I wrote JAMB the first time. And I think I scored 133 or something like that. 133, yes. So, I didn't pass. So I remember that I remember when I was filling that form that year, and we had these debates, and I said, I want to do electrical. I want to do electrical. And when we bought that morning, if I now, I'm seeing the video play in my head. How my daddy instructed me to fill medicine. So I was filling the form, and he shouted at me. I said, field medicine is inside that form now for me, and I filled medicine, but I didn't pass. I didn't even pass the exam. So after that first year, it didn't really meddle in it again, It just left me to. I was pursuing electrical engineering. I wanted electrical electronics engineering. So the following year, yes, I think I had 212. Yeah, 212 the following year. So I applied to University of Lagos, Unilag. So Unilag, I didn't get the admission. So Unilag wanted to offer me mathematics. I said I don't want. I would rather write JAMB again. I said I don't want mathematics. I'm not going to do mathematics. I want electrical or nothing. So I didn't get the admission. I rejected the maths they were offering me, right? And then I started pursuing my second choice, which was LAUTECH, Bomosho, Oyo State. So I pursued LAUTECH, I didn't get LAUTECH that year. I wrote JAMB again the 3rd time. This time I scored 238. Now, the cutoff for electrical was around 240. I had 238. So I had 238 in the JAMB, and then I went. Then they said that that the electrical there are a lot of things. Admission was hard those days. So admission was was a battle, both spiritually and physically. Those days. Admission was and without this admission you can't progress. If you want to, you can't. all your dreams can just be cut short at the point of our admissions. So when I didn't get, so they said okay that they will give me physics. I said okay, that's not bad. Then after first year I can cross to another department, to electrical after first year. I said that's okay. So I went to the day they said, so I traveled to Bomosho to check my name on the list that they have released the list. I checked physics, so I didn't see my name. In fact, I was almost already crying that I better have, or is it that I've lost the admission
Have
again this
Nigeria has
year?
happened to you again?
Hey, I was almost already crying that what's going on? What's going on? So somebody was now around that place and he said, why don't you just check everything? Just check everything, all the list. Just check all
Other
departments and see
courses.
what's going on. Yeah, if it's not in physics, check everywhere. That's how I saw my name in mathematics, number 3. My
Again.
name was my name was in mathematics, number 3. So I'm good in math. I know maths, right? And that's why I wanted to do electrical. So I didn't want to do math. So we came to the department and then we started. I used to have my friends. No, who's going to do math with you? No, I'm going to electrical. Also, always, don't worry, electrical. Electrical. We finished the first and went home. And I paid for one of our, pastors in church in school there. She helped me get the form to transfer. So I paid the money, and then on getting home, then my uncle has been also shouting electrical. So I got to me, just said, why don't you just stay in maths? Don't do electrical again. But you are the one who has been pushing electrical. I said, it just feels like I should just stay in maths, So I also thought of, and at that time I was already falling in love with the maths, kind of. So that's why I decided to stay in maths. And that's why today, to the glory of God, I have a PhD in mathematics.
Wow.
That's how I went. So
Wow.
God, thank you very much. God knows our way, knows what He has for us in plan and His plan and purpose for our lives. However, the place of guidance and instruction, right? So as your child begins to grow, you continue observing the child. You know the areas of strength of the child, areas where and you begin to ask the child, questions. My daughter has been saying a lot of things she want to be. She will keep saying this. At some point, she said she wants to be a YouTuber. I started laughing. At some point, she wants to be a dancer. Okay, go on. At some point, she wants to be a pianist. Okay, keep going.
That period is navigation period.
So those things will keep attracting the child. But as time goes on, to discover the real place she want to be. You get it? So my job as a father is to guide, to pray with her and counsel her. Say, okay, so she could have 2 things of interest, and then I tell her, okay, if you go this path, this is what you can be. If you go this path, this is what you can be. If you go that path, there are some limitations in the career of this particular one, depending on the location, country where you are. As a parent, you are able to see factor in the country where you are, factor in the resources, the future of that thing. And so you are there to guide and not to impose a career on your child. So also at the same time, right, like I said, God should just, above all, in the place of prayer and the place of God guiding the person. Both the choice and the parent choice might not still be God's plan. Both of them might not be God's plan. Both might not be God's plan. So, as God, if we commit our ways to God and say we somehow direct that thing to come where you want it to be, right? If it comes and it's what you really wanted to do, is fine. And if it's not what you wanted to do, it will still make you very successful and great in that particular career where you go. So I remember in 2020, maybe 16 or 17, I can't remember exactly. I finished teaching. I used to teach, so I was teaching one course, engineering mathematics. So I finished teaching engineering mathematics that day, and then I went back to my office, and that was how this girl followed me. Her name is Mimi. And then she was crying, crying, and she knelt down. What's the problem? I said, sit down. No, she said she wants to kneel down. Crying like a baby, a grown girl. So what's the problem? She said she's afraid of failure. Afraid of failure, how? That she's afraid she's going to fail this course. She said, why? I said, well, I said, what's the problem? She said that her father is pushing her to do biomedical engineering. But really, she wants to do microbiology. So she was in Ghana, and the Ghana curriculum of biomedical engineering in Ghana was more of biology intense approach, which she feels she's good in. Now she came to her place in Bells University, and the biomedical is more of mathematical engineering, approach, more of more mathematics intense. So she felt that she won't be able to cope with the math, that her strength is biology, not math. So she now wants to change from that biochemistry to microbiology. But microbiology was willing to accept her. Her father said never, that she must stay in that biochemistry and that biomedical engineering. So she stayed there. So she was crying, thinking she would fail, and eventually she didn't fail the course. Although she didn't start with a good grade, I think she had an E, last grade on the course. Subsequently, also in the second semester, that was our second year, I think she didn't do so well also. But she kept pushing, she kept pushing, she kept pushing. And by the time she was doing her engineering maths 3 in the third year, she got an A and became one of the best. As I'm telling you now, this girl has done a master's in Canada in biomedical engineering, which is something that was kind of forced on her also, Anyway, I wouldn't say forced because it was her choice of biomedical in Ghana, just that the curriculum switched kind of when she came to Bells, So, like I said, above all, she's doing very, very well. I think she's even married now. I've not spoken to her for a long time. Right? Above all, guys, God ordered the steps of our children, that's the most important. But we have, whatever the case, as parents, we have the role to be able to look through and give, guidance, informed guidance based on our experience, based on, what God has spoken to us about these children also, based on our information, based on our experience, based on things we know, we can give them informed guidance. But never at any point should we impose a career on the children, because that's their life forever, and they need to also, work something that they will have sustained interest. You get it? They say that they will not be in the career, and then they're not happy. And then you have seen several children that they will do 1 degree. I have several students when I was in Nigeria. I have several students who will tell you, I had a first degree before. What are you doing in first degree again? They've come for a second first degree. Somebody has a first degree. Yeah, somebody has a first degree in electrical. Do you know what it takes to get a degree in electrical? Get with the first class, and then comes back and is trying to study music or trying to study, and then what they'll tell you, if you ask what happens, that degree was my father. I did that to satisfy him. Now I'm doing my life. So we should not impose on our children. Yeah, we should not impose on our children, but guide them in the choice of their career. That's my humble submission. Thank you so much.